Oh yeah, 100%, Mean Gene. We're probably going to talk about that 100 times today, as that is how Dover gets you. Those exits are they just really come out of nowhere, and they're so abrasive in their nature, really right there. It's so intense that they even say when they bring these race cars back to the shop, sometimes they have twisted sheet metal inside the race car. It looks like it was almost in an accident, even if that car didn't hit anything. That's how abrasive that is, and that's what those drivers are going to be dealing with every time on the exit of 2 and 4. Yeah, it really does. I think it's just really trying to race the track instead of your opponents right now. It's a long race today, 150 laps. So I can totally understand why you wouldn't want to wreck your race car, even with that fast repair right now. You got to be patient, and you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation now. So it seems like a lot of our drivers right now content to be sitting where they are.
To each other, Kevin Kyle and Kyle Lanat, both of them tapping the wall right there, but you can see a little bit of side-by-side racing. Those are the only two cars that are actually racing, as the others choosing to go single file. And Lanat going to push up high. Looks like he's now trying to make a move on Alex Hillman. So Lanat appearing to be the only driver pushing the pace at the moment.
Saw Kevin Kyle hit the wall there on exit. I think reacting to Lanat, and oh man, a little bit of contact there between, I believe that's Redinger and Kevin Kyle right there, side by side. That was a big, intense moment. And you also saw Lanat underneath Hillman get all kinds of loose, able to gather it up. But it just goes to show how easily that happens. And then goes Lanat completely blowing the corner there, Mean Gene, and losing 2 spots because of it.
Yeah, it looks like he's off pace, whether it be the car or just the driver needing to adjust, losing another position. Now, as you can see, Andrew Bolander making his way under him, and now Michael Mata peeking his nose as well. So gotta wonder if Lanat is having some kind of mechanical issues with the car after that hard contact. I think he is. Look at him just fading backwards. That's unfortunate for the 988.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's so easy to have that happen at these tracks. You really, really got to be patient, protect your tires the best you can, and you're seeing what happens if you just slip up that that little amount. And what also that can affect, Mean Gene, is the heat of your tires. I think we'll be talking a lot about that today as well. So easy to heat up your tires too much today, and you really kind of have to back it down. Oh wait, we got a yellow out, and that it's Daniel Smith around.
Yeah, it looks like the 31 going. Oh, and Steve Lewis almost took a bite out of crime.
Oh, boy.
Barely missing that T-bone. I think that steak was overcooked, and Louis has particular tastes, and Midwell is not how he takes his steak.
We got to start doing a T-bone, like, daily, our T-bone of the day. We got to start doing a count of who has the most of them. And then when the...
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to hurt any feelings.
I mean, it's an award. So is it going to hit anything? So I like this. Spinning it the other way. You see Tony Iverson there like, oh no, oh, please don't do that. I think he might get out of here scot-free. We'll see. Oh.
Yeah, and then the only fun part is oh, yeah. You can see Bollinger going down.
Oh, boy.
Medina.
Wow. Look at this wreck avoidance. Okay, Brower. Look at Brower up there. That was close. Wow, I think they all did a great job there. I mean, Gina, I think everyone got out of there scot-free.
Yep. Pits are open. Daniel Smith down there. Kyle Lanat also got to be happy getting to address whatever issue was wrong with his car. And also, we see Hunter Hall, the number 12 Chevrolet, taking advantage of this pit. He also visited briefly. Not sure if it's tires, gas, or repair, but a few drivers taking this opportunity to come on down. And hey, why not? If you're in the back, why not top off anyway? And if you just had a ride the way that Daniel Smith did, probably ought to think about new tires as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was going to say. I'm assuming that's what it was for Daniel Smith. When you go for a slide like that, it's definitely a great idea to put some tires on that thing, whether or not you hit anything, and just kind of reset. So that's what
14 though. You gotta hate that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. That's definitely gonna hurt something in your race. You're gonna have to adjust to that somehow, right? You're gonna have to either go really, really long on a certain set, or go off schedule, or off strategy with the rest of the field. Now that you've kind of dug that hole for yourself, but it's an understandable one, Mean Gene. I'd assume there was a flat spot on those tires after a slide like that.
Yeah. So lap 14 is being forced to have those guys come down. Meanwhile, David Owens is selecting the outside lane for this restart. You can see the 07 of Vulpes going to be down on the inside as these two former teammates, now rivals, going to be fighting for position. On the outside, you can see the 13 of Tony Iverson. That is David Owens' teammate. So you can imagine they'd love to do a little bit of trickery on that top lane and perhaps get Iverson down into that preferred lane as well, behind his teammate. Matt Novella, it's that mellow yellow 56, also on the second row. Jonathan Case, DeBeer, Justin Parham, Kevin Kyle, Alex Hillman, Andrew Bolander, Kenneth Redinger. That's going to be the front row. Pace car is off. We're keeping an eye on the black and red NAS Ford of Owens on the top. He's the control car coming into the Geico restart zone. Let's see what kind of good start. And look at that. Boy,
wow.
It's so fast. He brings Tony Iverson with him. Owens with a two-car lead over Iverson. Then Iverson with a two-car lead over Joe Volpe. Side by side behind them, it's going to be Jonathan Casebeer and Matt Novella. Great speed by Casebeer coming out of that turn. Going to shoot past Novella up front, though. Single file, Owens, Iverson, Volpes, Casebeer, Justin Parham side by side with Matt Novella.
Oh, man, the 19 high up in that turn corner right there. I'm sorry, the 18 of Parham, very high there. Able to gather, but his car says 19, but his name or his number is that's great.
Yep.
Love that, Mean Gene. Anyway, that was a close call there. He was able to gather it up, and yeah, these guys, they don't want to be a single file for very long, do they? That was 2 laps, and we are back to, or I'm sorry, double file, and we are back to single file racing. It must be that bottom line is the dominant one, and let's find out here. Alex Hillman there. Oh, what happened to Mata? All the way
off pace, down by the apron, and comes right back up. Yeah, it seems like if you run side by side, your pace just goes off so much. And if you're going for that pass, especially up high, you're going to see a train of cars just pass you on the bottom. Speaking of being on the bottom, look at Kyle Lanatz, faded to the back, having issues. Here's a great replay. Let's see what Mata does.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened here. So he's below Hillman, and through the exit he goes, and just loose on exit, very, very similar to what we saw from Daniel Smith. And I'm wondering if the air coming off that car of Hillman affected him at all, but nonetheless, great save by Mata to not hit the wall and not lose too many positions.
Right, so we're looking for aggressive drivers. We can see Daniel Smith trying to race side by side, ends up tapping the wall for his effort, but he is side by side with Kevin Brower. A little bit ahead of them, you can see Jack Sanders and Colin Bollinger also with a little bit of side by side. Bollinger manages to slip up on the inside and get ahead of him. Up front, still David Owens. Now we're seeing a battle between Joe Volpes and Tony Iverson. Iverson, looking on that outside, wants to use the momentum to make his way around Volpes. Volpes hugging that apron. Those top 3 cars trying to move away. Heck, that top 1 car moving away as Volpes and Iverson doing battle. After that, you can see there's a group of 4. Things starting to spread out around this track. Remember, though, this is 24 seconds around the track, and Hunter Hall already 6 seconds back. Better hope this thing doesn't go green for very long, or he gets that car under control, because he could get ate up fast.
It happens quick here, Mean Gene. I've been in races here where only 3 cars finished in the lead lap, and the field was like 30 plus. Man, I'm not sure if you saw that in the last lap, but Volpes had a huge loose moment on the exit of 4, where else? And that was what allowed Tony Iverson to get to his inside and complete that pass for second place. So the teammates in first and second now. And how good must this 11 of David Owens must be feeling about himself right now, Mean Gene? He gets it done on Thursday in the MRL trucks. Then he gets it done on Sunday in the BRN Cup Series. And what's he doing here today? Putting the beat down on Dover early on. This guy must just have all the confidence in the world right now.
Yeah, wins come in bunches. So does confidence. And right now, David Owens has a pocket full of it. And right now, he is just up front leading. Looks like Iverson, though, slowly starting to close that gap now that he's clean and by Vulpes. But as we said earlier when we spoke with pole sitter David Owens, he said he and Iverson going to look to work with each other. Not going to see a lot of racing between those two guys up front. I imagine they'll just count laps and figure out speeds as far as who's going to be up at the front.
Well, I think Vulpes can
Iverson needs that win though. So I wonder if Owens would pull over, especially after last week when he just followed Jared Kelly. Is Owens willing to play second fiddle 2 weeks in a row?
I've never seen David Owens willing to do that. I'd be shocked. But also, I think that's kind of up to Joe Vulpes as well. I think he can kind of dictate that, Mean Gene. I think he can really keep the pressure on Tony Iverson and David Owens, and then it's really not up to them if they want to run single file or not, unless they want to run single file for second and third place. So if Joe wants to put the pressure on, he can do that.
If I'm Joe Vulpes, I'm looking backwards. This guy has been destroyed on the last lap or second to last lap. The last few races I've watched him participate in, including Atlanta last week. He was in the second row on that restart, and Owens stayed outside, didn't want to push him, instead pushed Kelly. Vulpes gets a different pusher, ends up getting spun. So if I'm Joe, I got my elbows up, and I'm looking out for who's behind, and I'm screaming in race chat the entire race, making sure that I'm not going to be victimized. So those three guys have a slight lead. Then you can see behind them a nice little group currently being led by Jonathan K. Sabir. He's in that blue Napa. Right behind him, you can see Parham, Bolander, Matty Novella, Kevin Kyle, and Kenneth Redinger. Remember, Redinger, we haven't said his name much. He didn't run the playoffs last year, and he is back now. But Kenneth Redinger was the Season 3 regular season champion, so there's a lot of speed in that 24 car.
Yep, and there it goes, looking like Formula One almost with those two paint schemes racing each other as Redinger completes the pass, Kevin Kyle, and then above, in front of that, we have Case of Beer and Parham going at it now. And man,
contact by Parham, saved by Case of Beer.
Exceptional save by Case of Beer. I don't know how he did that. I think Parham was able to back it off enough to not really have to drive through him, and that was a good job by Parham there. But that was big moment, and there's a lot of cars behind them, Mean Gene. That would not have been good. As you see behind there goes Redinger now looking to the inside of Novella as well. So these guys, they were looking like Atlanta choo-choo training last week for about 10 laps, and now it's go time. It looks like as Parham looks like he's going to complete the pass that time on Case of Beer and move himself into the top four, or into the fourth place.
Yeah, Case of Beer trying to get back into rhythm after that contact with Parham. Meanwhile, look at Novella pushing hard to keep Redinger behind him. Nothing I like better than driving cautiously, and then the guy behind me doesn't, and that's how he takes the position, because I'm trying to avoid contact, and then I get doored.
This is getting feisty.
Safety. Yeah, these two guys going at it. I know Novella can't be happy. He backed off, and that's what allowed him to get side by side. Kevin Kyle. And now look at Hillman slowing down. Going to let the 53 get under him. Hillman loses 2 spots. You know, Michael Mata, we were worried about him, but yet there he is back in 9th place.
That was a healthy wall hit from Kevin Kyle. He made that one count, didn't he, me and Gene? That's probably going to catch up to him.
He had a mustache to pat it.
That definitely helps. As now you see the 8 of Bolander and the 6 of Case of Beer going hard. Really, really trying to protect that track position, but man, it's getting intense in this group here. As you see Redinger being as patient as he can be, trying to follow Novella around Case of Beer. And what I'm seeing here as well, Mean Gene, is that 6 car of Case of Beer has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, he definitely took some damage. And if I'm Novella, I got my elbows up here. I am not going to let somebody come get under me after I'm trying to drive cautiously. And so I think you could see Redinger react to that. Those two cars having a big time with each other. Kevin Kyle right behind them in the 53. Those two guys also had a couple of close calls. Kyle never letting off, wiggling hard, making the 53 of Colin Bollinger back off a little bit. Finally, though, Bollinger able to make that move. Here's teammates Mata and Quesabir side by side heading down into turn 2.
Working together on that wall hitting strategy together. So
Yeah, you know, there's never too late to start hitting.
thinking outside the box, you know.
Wow.
Maybe they know something we
Meanwhile,
don't.
up front, look at this little changing of the guard. David Owens letting Tony Iverson go by. That was a free pass.
Was it?
Basically waved him around.
Let's take a look at
and
it.
And Iverson now going to collect him some points for leading laps.
Here it is. So Owens.
Look at it, burp it. Watch this.
Yeah. If he clears on exit, you're not kidding me and Gene.
He let him go right on by.
Yeah, some Jelly Me racing by Owens there. What I'm going to be curious about, let's go back live here. I want to keep my eye on that 11 car more than anything right now. Okay, yeah, so I was wondering, Mean Gene, if Owens prefers that middle to top lane that he's kind of running right now, or if he just got caught by Tony. Yeah, so look at that. Owens struggling to hug the bottom the way the 13 car is. So let's take a look at Iverson here. He's really just painting the bottom of this track, Mean Gene. Look at how good of a job Iverson's doing there. He's going to do a little mini diamond here. Yep. And the reason you do that mini diamond at Dover is so you are steering down the corner, so you don't have to deal with that brutal exit as badly. And that's a great way.
You like that bump. You like that bump.
Yep. It's how, and he's going to do the same thing here. Well, actually, let's ride on board with him for a lap now with Iverson. And let's watch how he does this. And so what I think we'll see him do here is he's going to go down here. He's going to go off throttle. He's going to wait to feel the car turn naturally. And there it is. And that's when you get back on throttle. Then you drive the car down. And that way, when you have that huge hill, which you can see how gnarly it is now that you're on board with him, you want to be driving down the track while that happens, not up, because it's going to shoot you up regardless. Watch this again. Down the track. And then you can deal with that huge shoot upwards. And even then, still very, very intense. And now, contrarily, that's probably not a word. Let's go to David Owens. David Owens watching.
It is a word now.
It is a word now. I've made up a lot of words that are absolutely nonsense on these things. But here goes Owens into 3 and 4. And it looks like he is also, what I think he also may be doing here, Mean Gene, is studying Tony Iverson. Tony Iverson definitely drove him down and was faster. And as you can see now, is driving away from him. So maybe Owens thought, you know what? Clearly he has this figured out. Let me follow him and figure it out so this doesn't happen on the third run in this race.
Lynotte's starting to plow up the wall, a little contact on the outside. Lynotte's made his way back up into ninth after some early mechanical issues, but looks like that car getting loose again, whether it be tires on this extended green run or just that car wearing out. I've noticed if you take damage, the car wears out quicker.
Oh, yeah. Weird thing about that, Majin. For sure weird. One more guy I want us to keep our eye on is the guy currently battling for 7th and 8th place with our regular season points leader right now, Bollinger, is Matt Novella. We are 42 laps into this run. Oh, boy. We've had one caution, and I believe so not into this run, but into these set of tires. And this is where I think you normally should see Matt start to really come in with that long run speed. You saw Bollinger get him there, and that certainly is not what's going to help in terms of being able to protect those tires. But let's keep an eye on him, and more than anything, let's keep an eye on that differential to the 13 of Iverson for him in the field. But there he saw it again, kind of grazing the wall there, Mean Gene. That's not going to help.
Pits open. We see a little 15-second pit stop there by Michael Mata. Don't know if that's a long-term strategy or if that guy's counting backwards already, but Michael Mata into the pits under green and put him a lap down.
He almost grazed the wall, he almost grazed the track there. iRacing does not smile at that, so hopefully that wasn't a penalty for the 16 car. One more thing to take note of, Mean Gene. Look at how far back that 07 of Joe Volpis has fallen. He was up there with Iverson and Owens not too long ago. Now he is 4 seconds back and into the clutches of this group of Parham and Redinger.
Quite unfortunate for the 07. Maybe it's strategy, maybe it's the car wearing out. We've seen people try to chase down David Owens before and wear out a set of tires. That maybe could be what had happened in that scenario. But either way, Volpis now fading back into 5th. And Mata is a lap down. So
let's watch him shoot by these cars, though, Mean Gene. Look at this tire differential.
Into the pits now.
Look at that from Mata. Did you see that? From the top to the bottom, mid-corner.
Pit stop time for some of these guys.
Man, Michael Mata, what a move that was. And look at this difference. It's got to be 2 seconds. And these laps are not long at all. So this could really get Michael Mata some significant track position if we stay green.
Lead continues to grow. Tony Iverson, almost a full second.
Yeah, he's got
his teammate David Owens. Owens trying to shut that gap down. You can see behind them a big old group of Paring and Redinger, and now Colin Bollinger closing up on Joe Volpis behind them. Kyle Lynott continuing to move forward. Lynott now behind the side-by-side Volpis and Colin Bollinger. Bollinger making his way around Volpis. Lynott underneath, also trying to get by Volpis. So definitely something going on there with that 07 of Joe Volpis. That car just getting a little bit loose here late in the run. I think we might see more cars deciding it's time to come down for that green flag pit stop. Daniel Smith, though, this is an extended pit.
Is he still in there?
He is still in there, 56 seconds and counting.
Could
not moving, so might have a cat emergency.
Could you not hear me for a second there, Mean Gene?
I could not hear you for a second.
You are impressive, my friend. Because it took me longer than it should have to realize that, because you are so good at talking to fake Zach. Good job, man. My mic got unplugged for a second.
Talking. Why is he still
Literally,
talking?
I was like, what's going on, Mean Gene? And I was like, that's not quite right, but great job, man. Wow. What a professional.
He's still talking.
you almost you honestly didn't even cut me off. The cadence was right. You'll see when you watch this back. Sorry for the behind the scenes there, but man, this guy's impressive.
Well, speaking of impressive, Iverson just laying it down. Extended run right now. Finally, we can see Michael Mata on those fresher tires. About the only guy that's going to challenge them. But Mata, again, 2 laps down.
That was
get this back the old-fashioned way.
That was one thing that I said that you couldn't hear me when you couldn't hear me, me and Gene. That's why I was looking at Mata. Man, did you see that top to bottom move he made mid-corner? That was gorgeous. And then look at this. He's about to get his lap back the hard way. If this thing stays green all the way through this pit cycle, I could see Michael Mata coming out in the top 5.
Definitely showing some speed, especially since he's not in the dirty air of anybody else. Just letting him lay down some burners.
And he's so much faster that they can't even do anything about it. So he's kind of able to run. I mean, he has to change up his lines, I think, more than he'd like to. But at the same time,
pit road's open.
Here we go. We're getting some action. Yeah, we got Joseph Volpis in there. I'm not surprised to see this 07 in here. I'm sure he's had enough.
Kyle, Matt Novella.
All the cars that we saw kind of fall off a little bit on the earlier side. Man, great camera work there, iRacing.
All right, so I guess Mata just got in there early.
Very early. And we see Mata do it all the time.
Caution because he's way ahead of these other guys.
Yeah, it's going to, a caution probably about 15, 20 laps into this run after you see the Tony Iversons and the David Owenses of the world come in. That would be pristine for Mata because I think he's going to have considerable track position here, Mean Gene. Like, he could have the lead for a second. He won't be able to hold on to it because those tires will be too old. As our leader is pitting right now, Tony Iverson into the pits. So
that's going to allow David Owens to zip around, take a lead. Looks like Redinger is going to come down with Tony Iverson as well. So we're going to see how this rotates around. But one thing's for sure right now, Michael Mata with that short pit, you got to do a different strategy. He was caught up in the middle of all the other cars. So why not go for the long ball? Throw it deep, see what happens. Right now, this looks good. He's just one caution away from it looking genius.
Exactly. I mean, we saw it yesterday at Las Vegas in NASCAR, just how much one caution can throw things upside down. Oh, we saw it in BRN and Bristol, didn't we? 2 cars finished the lead lap. As here comes Owens into the pits. And what I will say, too, Mean Gene, that I got to take my hats off to everybody in this field. This is not an easy or fun pit road to get onto or get into on green flag pit stops. I think that's why you often see these runs go so long as you're just putting it off as long as you can. And these guys have done a great job. But as I say that, Mean Gene, oh, okay, never mind. I thought I saw Volpis in there. Someone else who looks like Volpis is in there. Oh, it's Bollinger. My apologies. So far, so good. Everyone looking good in here. And that, I think, should complete the cycle. We still got Bollinger and Lynott and Medina and Hall. Mm-hmm. And then we're done.
Hall, Guerin, and Brower. So there's still a few cars that ain't done it. I see 6 cars trying to make this thing go as long as they can. And then, funny story, David Owens, if he can get out of that pit, I'm watching Mata come around. Will Mata close that gap?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Before Owens comes out.
Here comes Mata. Oh, Mata's got him, and it's not even going to be close. Look at this. It's not even close. Michael Mata is going to take the lead, and he's going to have about a second or two of a buffer. That worked. I mean, like I said, he's not going to keep that lead, but that definitely worked. He was in like what, 12th place when he did this?
I think so.
Brilliant. Love it. But look at this too. Iverson getting passed by David Owens during green flag pit stops, and you see that happen all too often with that 11 at David Owens, one of the best in the business on getting in and off pit road and the most efficient way possible. And you saw it on camera. He got into that pit lane perfectly, no time wasted, and that gave him back the lead over, or the advantage over Tony Iverson.
All right, pit's still being active.
Oh, Hall misses his stall.
That is.
I'm assuming that's what happens unless he thinks that's pit road. I can't even find it.
All right. Looks like Medina wanting to come down as well, but he's got Hillman under him.
Ooh.
Going to prevent him from coming down that time.
He's
hitting this lap.
Oh, that's not going to make that friendship any better. I wonder if he called it out.
And then Kyle Lynott. Now, Kyle's kind of on his own pit strategy, right? He did come down at one point for some repair.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have a little bit extra gas and a little bit extra rubber. So only Lynott and Medina now out on the track as far as that rotation coming around. Medina pushing it too. He'd love to see a caution come out right now and put all these guys a lap down.
Yeah, Lynott has put a lot of laps on those tires, Mean Gene. His last pit stop was on the 13th lap of this race, and you can see it by the way he has to attack this track. He is doing lines that you don't see very often, and it's just because that's what it takes to make sure you're not slapping that outside wall every time. He's doing a fantastic job right now, but I cannot. Let's see, what was that last lap time?
Yeah, 25:13 versus Redinger 23:81.
Oof, oof, oof. But hey,
he has. You're right about the other rotation. And look, Owens caught Mata.
Yep, here it is. Did not take long, did it?
No, zipped right on by, and he's got Tony Iverson right behind him, ready to go ahead and add on to the pain of Mata. But Mata, he's in the same boat as the two lead cars of Lynott and Medina. He'd love to see a caution of which he is not a part.
This is a net gain situation for that 16 of Mata. This is not a win the race situation. This was I was in 12th, and I think if we get that caution, I will then be in 4th or 5th.
All right, Daniel Smith pulling it behind the wall. Unfortunate for him. I think he had a cat emergency. I didn't see him wreck. He had the self spin, but he didn't appear to make contact, and he still had the fast repair.
Those cat emergencies are becoming all too common. As you see, Medina was bringing it down pit lane, but he brought it down early, Mean Gene. It was a not as aggressive as you saw someone like Owens bring it down. He was on that apron pretty much on the entry of 3.
And that leaves Kyle Lynott out there all by himself on that lead lap.
All by his
see when he's going to bring it down. But last lap, 25:31, whereas other cars turning 23s. So second and a half slower every lap. Wonder how long Lynott is going to milk this thing, because eventually that cow is going to run dry and you're going to be out there on bare bones. He needs to think about at some point bringing it down. So many laps on those tires. You said lap 13. That means 54 laps. Yeah. Crazy.
And like 1.5 seconds doesn't sound that bad, but when you're putting down 23-second lap times on the fast end, we're talking 15% slower. That is significant. You were seeing that now with Hunter Hall. He has the fresh tires behind Lynott. And yeah, it's just, he's putting down Cody Ware lap times right now, and it's by no fault of his own. I cannot imagine he'd want to go much longer.
And you can see right ahead of him, Jonathan Queso-Beer. He would rather not go another lap down, but I think he's going to have much of a chance here, as Owens going to drive right on by and stick that number 6 car laps down. And here comes Lynott finally bringing it down pit lane.
Good job by him.
He's going to let them eventually rotate around. All these other cars are going to get back onto the lead lap. Guys that are running really good today, you got to look at Parham up 6 spots in 4th. Mata, he's fading, but that strategy worked out great. Kenneth Redinger up 11 spots, currently running in the 7th spot. Biggest losers, of course, Daniel Smith with his early exit, and also fading Jonathan Queso-Beer, finding himself a lap down to everybody except for Andrew Bolander.
Not looking good for Quesabir right now, especially with such a strong start. Such a shame for him. And you are seeing Mata right now kind of starting to get eaten up by those fresher tires. Now he's really hoping for that caution, Mean Gene, as he has Vulpes and Redinger breathing down his neck right there. But he's making himself a little bit more difficult to pass than he was when he was up there with Owens and Iverson. Trying to hug the bottom here now as you see Vulpes trying to find any way around. And you know what's sticking out to me a lot right now is no one wants to make a pass on the outside, do they?
No, because of what you're watching right there. Vulpes trying to make that pass on the outside, and how is he rewarded? He gets Kenneth Redinger to poke his nose underneath. Finally, the better tires of Vulpes gonna make his way around. And then Mata just cuts off Redinger. That's how you make a friend. You are not going to get a Christmas card.
No, that is no way to get a Christmas card. And then he does give him the bottom there and allows him to clear him relatively easily. So maybe taking a little bit of accountability for that right there. As what I'm also seeing here, Mean Gene.
He's going to pass him back. Okay.
Oh, that'd have been awesome. I had to go back real quick. Tony Iverson starting to kind of close that gap a little bit to David Owens, and these two have been fun to watch passing the field and working their way and really working together as they put cars a lap down. It's been really fun to watch, and definitely the class of the field right now, those two teammates.
And let's pay attention to what happens in about 20 more laps, because that appeared to be when Owens started to plow up just a little bit, and then Iverson able to hold on to that bottom line. I wonder if that's a theme we're going to see throughout that race, because if so, it would be Tony Iverson going to take it, whether Owens would want to give it to him or not.
Yeah.
Iverson looking for that first win, and boy, he'd love to get it here. He did win here last year, so no stranger to victory lane.
And he's starting to get awful close, Mean Gene. The gap is closing lap by lap as he gets closer to that 11 car. You're on board with him right now. And what we're seeing is similar to what we saw last run. You're seeing Tony Iverson able to hug that bottom, hug that line right there on the apron, and watch how much higher that 11 is going to go. Look at that. You could fit a car below that 11. And so once that 13 gets to David Owens, he's going to know exactly what to do. This is deja vu right now.
Yeah, getting really tight out there. Only 13 cars remaining on the lead lap. Steve Lewis, the 88 last car lead lap on the lead lap.
Right there.
But you can just see how close as he's coming out of 3. Guess who's coming into 3? And that's David Owens and Tony Iverson. Steve Lewis. Boy, he'd love to see a caution come out. So would Jose Medina. Medina would be the lucky dog recipient. He wants to see Lewis stay as far ahead as he can, begging for that caution. Michael Mata also would love that caution so he can get back on even grounds. Now would be a time when maybe everyone would take tires and we could get a full re-rack.
100%.
But until that moment, we're just counting to see how long can David Owens keep up this pace and stay ahead. 1/100th of a second faster than Redinger the previous lap. This last lap, Iverson, 3/100ths of a second.
And look at Quesabir, not satisfied being a lap down, wanting that lap back, and weirdly, as fast as these guys. I mean, he kind of caught back up to him and is now looking to get that back from Iverson. And then all he'd have left is Owens. And that'd be great if a caution did come out for Quesabir. And yeah, I understand that when you're the 6th, Mean Gene, there's times where, you know, something happens that causes you to be in the clutches of the leaders, and all of a sudden you're lapped down when you may have had a fast race car, and then you're behind them and you're like, oh man, I'm as fast as these guys. I can't let this happen. You know what I mean? I gotta protect my chance of winning this race. So let's keep our eye on that 6 as well. Starting to look on the outside and inside.
Ahead. He's 2 laps. He's 2 laps back. He's got to get back in this thing. If he can't get ahead of those guys, then he's just going to watch Andrew Bolander pull away. Bolander and he both on the same laps. And now look, Hunter Hall going down again. Kevin Brower. This thing is just ugly up front now. This is what we saw David Owens do at Bristol recently, was just put more and more cars a lap down. Wow, look at Quesabir now fighting with Iverson.
Oh, boy. Oh, there it is.
Bring Medina with it.
This is... I cannot imagine this is going to put Tony Iverson in a very good mood. But I will say, this happens at this track, Mean Gene. 2 years ago in the MRL Truck Series, and I'll brag about this one a little bit, me and Matt Novella lapped the entire field. Just us two were able to. And it's not about us being that much better. It happens at Dover. It's the fall off and the combination of that and how small this track is.
It's into Lewis. Lewis.
Oh, no.
Wow, Louis slowed down. Jack Sanders in front of Louis got loose. Steve Lewis slowed down, and then Owens just plowed a hole right in the back of Steve Lewis. That was dangerous. Owens
Big.
gonna survive, but you got to wonder about that front end damage. Owens now making his way around Sanders, but Louis definitely slowed up because he had a wiggling Sanders. Owens not recognizing what was happening, just plowed right into the back of Steve Lewis.
And look what that's also done. This is getting complicated because now Case of Beer right there, and he's shown that speed. And Medina also was able to get past Iverson throughout all that mayhem. Iverson lost a second to David Owens. He is now 1.3 seconds back to the leader. Wow. So with the size of this track and with the differing pit strategies and tire strategies and just raw speed, we are going to see these lappers play a big role in this race today.
Yeah, you saw two lappers there got together with each other, causing a little bit of an incident. You know who's not unhappy is Hillman. The leader was 2 seconds behind him. A little bit of an incident there, and all of a sudden that gap grew just a little bit. But Owens now making up time. He's gonna catch him pretty soon. But if you're Hillman, you had to be glad to see that little wreck slow things down.
Oh, for sure. That's always just that nice little caveat to help you out a little bit as you see Iverson about to put Sanders a lap down. But what I'm also seeing, Mean Gene, keep your eye on this guy right here, the 53, our points leader of Colin Bullinger. He is quietly working his way through the field. He made that pass on Parham a couple laps ago, and he's already got a second on him. So that 53, and how often does he come out of nowhere and get it done around this time in the race?
Lots of races. How about another guy keep an eye on? Kenneth Redinger also trying to make his way. He's behind Parham in fifth. Joe Vulpes finally having a pretty decent day of it now, not fading back. Hopefully,
great recovery.
Some long run speed as he finds himself in sixth. Michael Mata slows the bleeding and lands in seventh. Behind him, Novella needing a good day. Kyle Lynott, Kevin Kyle. It's a lot of Kyle action.
A lot of Kyles.
10th. That's your top 10.
Too
and
many
then
Kyles.
all of a sudden, there's Hillman trying to hold off that charge, and you can see Owens on that same page with Alex Hillman. So he has got to find some speed out of that car or pray for the caution. Almost got one there when Owens made contact with Steve Lewis, but Lewis able to hold on to that pony and keep her straight.
It is up to 2+ seconds and growing for that lead now. If I'm that 13 of Iverson, I know it's very early, but what's going on? Is this when you maybe change up your pit strategy? Did something go wrong dealing with those lap cars? Did you use up your stuff too much there? I don't know, Mean Gene, but this is the point where you have to start thinking about, am I going to do damage that's undoable? And look at that. Oh my gosh, look who's behind him.
Giving it up to the 53. The 53 goes low.
Oh no. Yellow flag. Oh man, that was.
And he straight wrecked him. He said, "You ain't passing me, son."
Let's see what I mean, that happened really fast, and I was just screaming the whole time. Let's see. Oh boy, we need music for this, Mean Gene. I can't hear it, so y'all have to tell me that's great, but I'm shaking. Oh no, that was. This is probably the biggest wreck of the year right now.
That was some pretty aggressive driving on both drivers' part. I think there was room underneath. 53 could have gone further down.
This is all good.
13 could have gone further up.
I mean, no, but it's not Bullinger's responsibility to go any further down. This is all good so far. This camera angle isn't great. Here we go. Up comes Bullinger. Iverson's coming down a tiny bit as well. There's the contact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Iverson could have gone higher and Bullinger could have gone lower.
Mid-corner, you're very right about that. Mid-corner.
It looked like Bart and Lisa Simpson. I'm going to kick and walk forward, and if you get in the way, it's your own fault. Bart said, I'm going to throw punches and walk forward, and if you get in the way, it's your own fault.
I will say, the amount of references you have is very, very
Bang,
impressive.
pow, pow.
So hold on.
Let's do you know the telltale angle.
Yes, sir. That's what I was doing.
Let's go to the tattletale.
Let's do this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go a little bit further back here. Okay, perfect. Okay.
God, it already looks like he's not turning.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is coming up. This is coming up right here. Iverson. No, I'm not going to put that in the 13. And then I wonder what the 13 is doing there in terms of his steering input. I'm assuming they're just stuck together.
He's wrecking him. That's what he's doing. He's wrecking him, Bobby.
Let's see. I'm assuming they're stuck together here. Oh, nope, that thing's still turning left. Never mind.
I mean, you have to keep turning left to clear the wreck.
Yep, you do. And he
If you
did.
don't keep turning left, you're going to go right with him.
Very true. It's a lose-lose there, for being real. Any words exchanged over the radio that we missed?
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Oh, yes, there was.
Yeah.
They definitely had some things to say. But in my opinion as well, you know, again, this is just the drive. I'm just an announcer. I'm just watching this from a distance. You know, seeing what's going to happen. But my honest opinion, if you just have to know what I think happened coming out of that, and as far as like whose fault it was clearly his fault.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look, you can, and then, so that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, you nailed it. And that dude's an idiot for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly is just a jabroni.
Yeah, absolutely. And should be suspended for the rest of the season, and maybe parked.
Yeah, here we go. Yes, here we go. Lord of mercy. I mean, what can you say? It's two guys racing hard. One could have gone higher, one could have gone lower.
I'll go racing deal on that one. I will go racing deal. I mean, Bollinger came up, but yeah, Iverson didn't have to be in the middle lane, and he was slower. So yeah, but that's why we have fashion pairs, right? You still see Iverson there. I'm looking for Bollinger a little bit further back, but it looks like they're both in the lead lap as we get ready to go green here.
All right, so David Owens is going to be your leader. New front row car is going to be the 1819 of Parham. Good jump by Owens on the inside lane. He's going to have 3 car lengths over Parham. Parham on the outside. Behind them, side by side, Redinger and Joe Volpus. Behind them, Michael Mata and Matt Novella. Finally, single file, David Owens going to get the lead over Parham. Joe Volpus, Michael Mata. Side by side, Redinger now with Matt Novella, and behind them, Kyle Lanat. Owens going to bring it into turn 3. Got Parham behind him, trying to close the gap. Owens hugging that bottom line, coming out of 4, and it's going to be Owens leading lap number 93.
Watch out here. Oh, no, and around goes Redinger, and that's going to be Novella collected as well. And
Novella
massive
takes it in the ding.
And Hunter Hall gives us the first of the day. Thanks for that one, Hunter. Let's tee it up, Mean Gene. Hunter. All right, that one I saw a mile away. That was a predictable one. Let's take a look at it. It started with Redinger and Novella coming together, and I think Lanat maybe squeezing his nose where it didn't belong. Let's take a look. So here we go, and we're gonna see them really come together on the exit of the corner here. And what that's gonna do, me and Gene, is just murder any sense of exit speed either one of them had. You can see it right there. They're both checking up to not hit each other. I think you're going to see Redinger maybe graze the wall barely. So now Lanat has this head full of steam. He cleared that corner. He got to be a single file. And he collects.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
He really did. Like shades of Miley Cyrus right there. And then look at this. Like Novella almost clears it. And Lanat's like, nope.
Oh no, look at Hillman going the wrong way.
Oh, and then do it for Dale right there for the 50.
And here comes Steve Lewis. He's not shy.
No, never. Wait, we have to get our T-Bone Central too. Here it comes. Oh, he locks it up. We bullied you a little bit too hard for that one then, Hunter. You tried your best. And that was a very undercooked steak, if we're being fair.
And then look at all the cars that go into the pits on accident to avoid that foolishness.
A lot of black. Oh.
Oh no, Hillman!
Brower!
Don't get him, KB. Don't do it.
Hillman, hold your brakes.
Oh, look at the front end of KB. That just bowed.
Yeah, that was... Are we not done yet? Please tell me we're done.
All right, pits.
Okay.
Pits are very active.
Let's check them out. Let's check them out.
Bollinger, Novella, Brandon Garrett down there. We haven't talked about Brandon.
We haven't. And Brandon Garrett has been doing a fantastic job today. And here we go. Yeah, so it looks like, yep, pretty much everyone bringing it down that time. And so What happened to Iverson and Bollinger there as well? Oh no. Iverson is a lap down. Is he in the pits? There he is. I think Iverson may have been in that one, Main Gene. What did we miss?
Radio silent right now. There was a few requests to have black flags cleared.
Call that one.
Unsafe pit entry.
Call that one.
Came. Looks like Kyle did get a repair done. 13 cars on the lead lap.
No longer Tony Iverson.
Shown.
Yeah. So Bollinger's still with decent track position in 9th place, but that, oh, man. That, I don't want to know how that 13's feeling right now. That's unfortunate.
All right, so cars are getting back in order. Take this green again. Looks like the lights are off of the pace car. We're on lap 97, racing to 150. We've had some serious excitement here, especially the contact between series leader Colin Bollinger and the 13 of Tony Iverson. Pace car is off. Owen's control car is on the inside this time. He's up at the front row. Justin Parham. See what he can do. Joe Volpus and Michael Mata, second row. Inside, outside row does not go. Parham waving at the girls in the front row instead of driving, and that's going to cost him positions. It'll cost him now, but it's going to pay off later. Waka waka. Finally getting up to speed. Joe Volpus down on the inside looking under Owens. Owens goes really high.
Oh no.
Those new tires gave him a shock. Medina making moves, finally backs off. Doesn't make contact with Mata. That was tense. Up front, though, David Owens bringing it out of 4. He's going to lead lap 98.
Everywhere you look, it's close calls. Oh, gosh, Redinger gets in deep and into Hillman. Completely turns Hillman. Wow, what a save by the 08. What an unbelievable save by the 08. That was incredible. That was not great by Redinger right there, driving in way too deep, straight into Hillman. And if that 08 catches him again, and he's going to have fun with that one, buddy.
Nah, he won't get him. Hillman, the Birmingham out.
And Redinger again gets around into the wall and back onto the track. Oh my gosh. What happened to that 24? And Iverson just over it. Just driving through the middle of it like I don't even care anymore. What happened to that 24 for those 2 laps there, Mean Gene? That was ugly.
Wow, looks like Redinger towed it immediately.
Yeah, we all know how good Redinger is. That was so...
Yep, Redinger towed it and is out of the car immediately, throw his helmet on the track and called it a day.
That looked like an equipment failure, if anything. I don't know. Let's take a look here. Trying to find where to even start here, Mean Gene. And yeah, so I should probably get this. I'm going to actually get this out of the way now. I'm in the middle of like losing my voice right now after a weekend in Vegas. So if I sound like I'm going through the middle...
you can only scream Joey so many times before you lose your voice. I understand.
Yeah, I don't have to say what the other words were before I said Joey, but yeah, you're
right? Joey Spires.
I can't wait to tell you what someone screamed to Joey Logano under caution last week.
That's why I'm a fan. You're gonna lock it in.
If I say that on the air right now, I think we'll be demonetized for the rest of this channel's history. But it was epic, and I was like, I wish me and Gene was here to have heard that. So, oh wow, I think I timed that one right. Let's take a look if this is what I was looking for.
All right, so look at Lynott and the 24 of Redinger.
All right, here we go. Oh. So and this was the same thing we saw. At first it was entry, now it's exit. And this is what I really don't understand here. Oh, wow, and behind him, look at that. That's Garand, I believe. Also,
Garand followed him. Like Garand's like, I'm gonna wreck you. I'm gonna follow you wherever you go. And oh no, and now you're too fast. You got away.
I don't understand.
I took Bolander.
Almost Bollinger too. Iverson. Iverson got destroyed. He got destroyed.
Again.
Iverson's gonna be done for the day after that one. Bollinger does get spun.
Oh, and Brandon Guerin also taking it behind the wall.
This is considered. We missed a few things when that initially happened, and then I'm gonna go back a little bit as well, because we just really. I'm just gonna want to here. Let's see this here, me and Gene. Here's what I want to check out, because this was like a 2-lap thing, and I'm not sure if that 24 maybe hit something and had an equipment problem. Okay, here's where I want to start. Did he hit the wall here? And no, so his equipment should be fine. But look at this. This is just not a good series of corners here. Comes in here, into the 54, into the 08. The 08 does that save. That 24 is very, very loose. So maybe there was something he hit before this that messed it up. And this is what is going to create that big wreck here. And let's see all the mayhem from this view. Jeez, Mean Gene. Not great. Not great.
And look down in the pit. I mean, Tony Iverson is outside the car banging on it himself.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one of those guys like doing a full-on
It's taking
body
everybody.
slam.
They just give him a hammer as well as he's trying to get this thing back on the track however he can, but he's finding himself laps down to everybody. It'll be interesting to see how he is going to make a save of this day. Up front, though, lights are off of the pace car. David Owens, Justin Parham side by side. Owens on the outside with Medina. Parham on the inside with Mata coming up into the Geico restart zone. Joe Volbus, Kyle Lynott, row 3, 53, 08 in row 4. There's that jump by Owens. He's going to get 2-3 car lengths ahead of Parham. Parham side by side with Medina cannot go up. So he finally, Medina lets off Parham with a good run, gets now side by side Medina and Michael Mata. Up front, Owens and Parham starting to pull away. Looks like Parham going to try to make a move. Owens better start hugging that apron. Oh, and Parham loses it up into the wall.
Oh, man. And caution is not out. We are still green, Mean Gene. He never spun it. What just happened? Is he going to tow it, or are we going to go? We are still under the green flag, folks. Wow.
Parham, it looks like Parham got disconnected. That
No.
was a mechanical failure.
Owens with the Panzarella special. There's the caution. There's the caution. But the Panzarella special, right, for Owens, where just everyone who has the speed to beat you combusts.
Wow, makes you wonder if something funny's going on with the server to see.
We've had issues today, Mean Gene. We got disconnected earlier today, and I didn't do anything differently. Let's take a look at this from Parham. And here he is. Oh, it looked like shades of Kyle Larson at Atlanta, right? Remember that one? Wow.
Parham running fast all day long, all of a sudden just losing. Had to be losing connection.
Had to have been. That thing took a sharp right, Mean Gene, like a sharp right. It literally looked like that Atlanta wreck with Kyle Larson, I think a year ago, right? Where he was in the draft and all of a sudden the thing just went right. Bizarre wreck there from Parham. But super unfortunate for one of our faster cars. I do see him. I thought did he call it, Mean Gene? Looks like
Yeah, Parham. I think Parham got disconnected because
been.
now it finally showed up afterwards.
And it said like a manual disconnect or a upload packet loss or one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. Gosh, that sucks. I wonder if it is
All right, so go back to looking at the race, see what's going to happen. Right now, David Owens in the lead. Jose Medina.
Who was a lap
Who's
down
the
not too long ago.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's insane. This race.
And who would and the guy that was going to get lapped, Steve Lewis, finds himself up in 9th place. Jack Sanders, 10th. And Kyle back into the pit, ball being hammer and all.
You want to hear something funny?
Looks like at the moment, 12 cars on the lead lap. KB being shown as the first guy left.
Even to add to the bizarreness of this race, Jose Medina has fresher tires than David Owens. So he could have something for that 11 car. This race is
he's
something.
got some speed. If he can find some clean air, Medina will make it away. But at this point, we know Owens' car is clean. You got to wonder about the damage on all these other cars, though. Everybody else seems to have taken a hit.
At least they all have it. Oh, did Iverson call today?
Yes, Iverson put it behind the wall.
So we got Iverson, Parham, Guerin, Redinger, Smith, and Babcock out of this race. We're down to 15 cars.
Yeah. Went
Wow.
from 21 to 15 real fast. Last year's race only had 18 participants.
I wish I had
You
a
can see the league growth, but the attrition here has been devastating.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up something on screen during the next caution because I know we're gonna get one to show what probably just happened here. I think you know. There's something outside this racetrack.
It makes me wonder who the NASA astronauts are that have been stuck in outer space.
Definitely. Lights are off the pace car as we get man. And one thing that this race has also very much showed us, Mean Gene, cautions breed cautions.
Cautions breed cautions, and DCs breed cautions.
Yes, they very much do.
Yeah. All right. Waiting for the pace car to take it out of the way. We're paying attention to David Owens. He's once again on the outside. This time he's got the Marlboro 54. Jose Medina on the inside. Second row still the same. Going to be Joe Volpus, Michael Mata, Kyle Lynott, and the 53 of Colin Bollinger in row 3. Coming up on the Geico Restart Zone. Cars tightening up. Let's see what Owens has. Good start by Owens. Gets a slight bump from Mata. Medina didn't time it quite as well. Medina now side by side with the 16 of Michael Mata. Medina now finally gets it rolling. Cars spreading out. Owens in the front. Double behind him and 2 wide behind them. All the way back. Just the way you like to see it on these short tracks. Owens going to lead it in. Mata way off the pace.
Wow.
Almost gets a wreck by Lynott. Lynott saves it. Medina second. Mata third. Volpus fourth. Lynott off the pace still. Colin Bollinger going to take over fifth. But it's David Owens off to a quick lead. He's got a 4-car length over Jose Medina. Medina with fresher tires. Let's see how this goes. 40 laps to go here at Dover.
Yeah, a great recovery there from Medina to hold on to second place with not an ideal restart. Curious to me as well with Owens after that amazing restart on the bottom he did. He's been the top the past 2 times. I say, oh man, Novella and Lynott get together, and that collects Hillman as well. Oh man, Hillman, another near miss there, but I think he's still got a little bit more damage. He's just been in the worst place at the worst times today. But here we go again, contact early between this top 10. As you see Bollinger looking to the inside of Mata. This guy already back in the top 5. Can never say die with that 53 of Bollinger. Do not cut him out yet. I'm sure he still has something for that 11 of Owens. As let's see how long we can stay green here, me and Gene. I will say it's becoming a hell of a lot more obvious why these guys stayed single file for 50 laps to start this race.
Yeah, we see them now with the side-by-side. Look at Mata push Lynott all the way up into that wall. Lynott trying to make that outside lane work while he's on this fresher set of tires. Finally does make that pass on Mata. Mata underneath. Now Matt Novella trying to pass Mata for that 6th position. Mata 6, Novella 7. Look at Mata holding that bottom line. Novella with some strong contact in the back of him. Lynott earned it going down the outside. Novella's going to take it right through the center, trying to get the lead. Meanwhile, up front, David Owens, that gap not growing the way it was before. Those quicker tires of Medina showing off. Joe Volpus right behind them, looking for his first win as well, and then series leader Bollinger in 4th. Lynott making that outside work. I got to ask you, Zach, the outside lane, is that a thing here?
It is if you do it right. And I think the biggest one to watch has been Lynott, and he's making it work when he makes it work, if that makes sense. So let's watch Lynott real quick, because he's been good when he gets it right. That was not one of them. You need to be turning down the track. So here we go. We're on the outside here. You need to be turning down the track by this point, or you're screwed by exit. That is a perfect way to run the outside, Mean Gene. But let's keep our eye on him here and see if he's able to replicate that. This is easier said than done. I've seen this happen too many times with Lynott today. He gets to this point, then he slides back up the track and right up into that wall. So the outside, is that a thing here today, Mean Gene? It's a thing, but is it a thing to make passes? I don't know.
Yeah, in the 2386 that last time, he was quicker than Owens and Medina, but fastest car that time.
And single file, you know, like he can really diamond that thing all the way. Look at that. Look how much track he's using.
He is slightly quicker, but Bollinger also fast as well. So he's a little quicker. You can see that speed he uses.
I just
53 hit the wall.
Oh, and look at that. Yeah.
Very good telltale.
But now look at this. I don't think Lynott's going to be able to complete this pass. Oh, as he slides up a little bit and Bollinger able to wrap the top. Bollinger doing an amazing job running the higher line there, not the full top. But I think that's what you're going to see here, Mean Gene. I think you might see Lynott get another run here, but I don't think this is going to be a good line for passing. I don't know when you make the pass running this line, having to go all the way to the bottom like that, right? Like, when are you going to find that passing lane to complete it?
Meanwhile, you got Michael Mata and then 6 cars behind him, all acting foolish. You can see Andrew Bolander trying to make that top lane work. Thinks he's Kyle Lynott.
He's having fun.
You're in a yellow car, not a blue car. He is making it work, as you can see him go around Hillman. Wow, that was a 2-for-1 that he got right there. Great move by Bolander. He's going to pick up 2 spots. Kevin Kyle trying to follow him around. Look how tight that little group is back there would not be surprised if we saw some excitement. Kevin Kyle been known to use the front nose, and Michael Mott have been known to block people. That's not a good combo to put together.
This is not going to end well, Mean Gene. If we get a caution, it's going to be right here on camera. These guys are impatient because no one likes racing for 15th when there's that many cars in the lead lap. These guys want to be further up the field, and they are showing it right now. Mata,
well, they better not screw around. Look at, they got Louis right behind him, wide open too. So do not make a mistake.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. And then also, Mata falling off more than he should, in my opinion. He pit on the same lap as Owens. Not sure why Mata is falling off so significantly right now. Whether it be, as Brower and Quesabeer did some synchronized wall hitting. That looked very pretty, boys. But yeah, I'm not sure if maybe he did a little different tire strategy, but Mata, based on the data we have available to us, his speed is not consistent with that at all from what we know from that driver, that 16 car, as Volpus completing the pass on Medina for second place, as Medina got caught up top, Main Gene. There it is. And here comes Bollinger.
I got to ask you a question. Andrew Bolander, he had the fastest lap that last time. Does he have anything with like newer tires, or did he save tires better?
He has the newest tires besides Sanders and Kevin Kyle.
Okay, that makes sense. But he was cutting through traffic. And
those are short runs, though, too, Mean Gene, you know? So I'm seeing like 5 lap deficits. Like, so when I said that Medina had fresher tires than Owens, it's 5 laps, but there was a caution there. So really it's, 1, maybe 2. It's that same situation.
Those guys are even. And Medina losing his mind. He's singing in the race chat. You know that's going to be appreciated.
That's always... He's singing?
Yeah, he was singing for a minute.
What song?
I don't know.
Oh, so he's not a great singer.
I don't know a lot of my song selection.
Must be a new song.
Is fading backwards though. You can see now losing a little bit of momentum. David Owens with a 0.4 of a second lead over Joe Volpus. We're on lap 124. We got 27 laps to go. Side by side now.
After a wall hit.
Looking to put the move on Volpus. Takes it over easily after Volpus's little whoopsie daisy there.
Yep.
Then Medina, Matt Novella, and Kyle Lanat. So Owens in control right now. Teammate Iverson out of the race. All eyes on David Owens.
And all eyes on the 53 as well. Here we go, Mean Gene. I am rubbing my hands together right now. I'm excited for this. Here we go. I really think this 53 of Bollinger has something for that 11 of David Owens. But we've seen all day how hard it is to pass here. Like, that, I think the best car to look for is that 988 of Kyle Lanat. He, I think, is one of the fastest cars in this racetrack right now, but he just can't complete the passes at a rate that he needs to give himself a chance to win this thing. I will say he's proven me wrong with not being able to complete passes. He's doing that. He's getting through the field, but I think his passing isn't consistent with his speed right now, while with Bollinger, he's already taken off a 10th, Mean Gene. Look at this one. We're going to be keeping our eye on this battle, I think, for the next 24 laps.
Yeah, look how Owens just can't hug that apron. This is the same way that Tony Iverson took over from David Owens earlier.
Big slide by Owens.
Lack of ability to hold that bottom, and then he just starts Tokyo drifting. The 53, he actually had trouble that time giving Owens that opportunity. So who can roll it the best? But the problem with rolling it in is somebody might get their nose right under your front end. Look at Owens now really making an effort. You can see the front end of Owens' car just as close to that apron. That's absolutely possible. This in-car right here, you can watch the RPM gauge and see exactly how they're rolling it right there. Owens just doing a better job right now. 53 wearing out those tires. Makes you wonder how much rubber he used just to get in this position.
Yeah, I'm going to turn up the audio for you guys right now, and let's listen in. Listen to those tires. If you hear that screeching sound, it's okay, but it's not what you want. And Owens there, I heard a little bit of hiccuping on the throttle, not super confident on exit. He's doing a good job, Mean Gene, but I worry about what happens if Bollinger can make this move, and he has to deal with dirty air like Bollinger does right now. Bollinger dealing with that dirty air off of Owens, and you're seeing him right now try to get away from that. See, he's going to go a little bit lower because Owens isn't there. I saw the lap before. Owens did hug the bottom. Bollinger went a lane up. He just wants his nose in that clean air. Ooh, you can see how quickly that can happen there. This is a game of chess right now, Mean Gene.
Yeah, just seeing what's going to happen. I thought one thing that's definitely happening is we're just seeing Andrew Bolander creeping into the picture. Bolander back in 7th place. And now Medina is
What happened to Jose Medina?
Oh, he's still
Oh,
going.
wait. Someone just, I saw shoot down my.
He blinked.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and now
Oh.
Novella into the side of Medina. Lanat over.
Oh, Lanat.
Lanat spinning into the inside wall the wrong way.
The caution is not out yet, unbelievably.
He's rolling, but he ain't happy.
Wow.
Look at that. All the drivers getting by him the old school way, which is when you're wrecked, I go by.
And we stay green. We stay green.
Lanat cannot be happy. Look at that lead. All of a sudden, 23 is just getting worse. Lanat now trying to recover 17, 18 seconds behind the leaders. 19.
Here we go. Here's a look at what happened.
Yeah, they're gonna catch up to.
You called that perfectly.
Again.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, what you said is what happened. You called that perfectly. Just reacting to it.
And Lanat into the pit now. Might as well, right?
So unfortunate for Kyle Lanat. That is so rough. And trying to do the right thing and check up for what he thought was going to be a wreck, and just grabs a little bit too much, and it sends that car around. We've seen that for 2 years now here together, me and Gene, how easy that is to do. Some of the best drivers in this league, including that 998. I've done that.
The next gens, right?
Especially the next gens. You usually are running those things, especially here, me and Gene. You want to run that brake bias very, very low so you can use those brakes to, kind of give them that tap and center you into that corner and really give you that angle that you want. So you have that bias set pretty uncomfortably low for situations like that, right? You're really not planning on having to grab 50-60% of brake at any point in the race, and then it's just so easy how that can happen. And all too late once it does.
Tap it too hard and surprise.
Yep. And look at Mata.
So that means 11 guys on the lead lap.
Another one bites the dust.
Kevin Kyle fighting back there with Sanders. You can see closing the gap. Hillman as well, trying to stay on that lead lap. Gap 16 seconds. So Hillman has around 7 seconds. 8-second gap over Owens. So hopefully that lap traffic won't come into effect. Owens, though, this guy has managed to now make this lead 1 second. I think Colin used up a whole lot more rubber than he wanted to, just trying to close the gap with Owens. Owens was just rolling it so well. We could see from that in-car cam of Colin Bollinger, Owens not making the mistake that he did with Iverson.
No, he did a great job.
Tires this time, learning his lesson and putting those skills to use to hold on to that lead over Colin. And again, 0.3 of a second faster than Colin at last lap. So you can see that lead slowly growing. Joe Vulpes in third would love to get up there into the picture, but big lead, big gap between Bollinger and Vulpes. Matt Novella, Andrew Bolander, still the fastest moving car out there, but I would imagine these tires going to even out with the rest of the field at some point.
I think so as well, and I with all this single file racing and how few cars have survived this race, I keep thinking, wow, probably good chance we stay green for this thing. But then every single time, and we're about to see it here, these cars get side by side. Someone hits the wall. Yep, someone hits the wall every time, and all it takes is one. Mean Gene, these guys are struggling to race today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's really hot, but man, every time they get side by side, somebody hits the wall. So it's only going to take one. We'll see. But I did notice that as well. It was when that whole thing was going down with Lanat, Bollinger just all of a sudden fell off a cliff, and Owens was really able to gap him now over a second. So all Owens has to do is to hold on for 10 more laps. And he's going to go 3 in a row on league races for him. And 2 different leagues, 2 different race cars, and 3 different races and 3 different tracks. Can't say enough about how impressive that is.
No, and he's choosing the right time to do it. Playoff season over in the Sunday Next Gen Cup and closing moments of this series as well. This is week 10 of our 12 race regular season. David Owens already with a win, clinched his way into the playoffs. Would love to be the regular season champion as well, chasing Colin Bollinger. Colin Bollinger in second. So Colin not going to give up that trophy very easily, even if David does pull off the win. Colin will still get a great amount of points to keep this battle about as tight as you can imagine.
Yeah, and I don't think fuel is going to become an issue today as well. I was just thinking about that, looking at Owens. He's going to have to go 60 laps here. I think we saw them go further with just one caution. They definitely got more than that in that span. So Owens really just putting down those excellent laps right now, and we're starting to see a good amount of separation throughout this field. What a chaotic race this one has been. Oh, what did I just say? I was so wrong. Oh, gosh, what's going on?
It's getting spicy. Meanwhile, Matt Novella, he's going to take over third from Joe Volpes. Michael Mata is closing the gap quickly on those two cars. Mata made quick work of Bolander after Bolander touched the ball. And meanwhile, Jose Medina, he is trending the wrong way as he is going to watch Hillman, who's a lap down, get by him. So hopefully we won't see Medina with a tire blowout. You know, he had that unfortunate crash just a few weeks ago where he went from third position all the way back to 12th. I don't want to see him go the wrong way and have a late caution here in this race. Lap 146, we're racing to 150, so just 5 laps away. Will Owens hold on?
Man, it's a good thing.
Looking at him, Volpes.
Yep, and it's a good thing Owens can't watch this broadcast right now, because it'd be taking years off his life knowing what's going on in the rest of this field right now, praying that caution doesn't come out. But gosh, everywhere I look right now, it just doesn't look pretty. As you see Kyle and Medina battling here, and these two are going at it. Oh my goodness, Mean Gene. Look at this one. This is sketchy.
Yeah, Medina.
Oh no! Brower on the bottom.
Sick. KB, can he hold it down?
He does. This is... If we don't get a yellow, David Owens is going to good laugh when he finds out what was going on for the last 30 laps of this race.
I mean, he has no clue. He's out there in that clean air. Everyone else has damage on their car. David Owens running a pristine ride right now, coming around lap 48. Everything is fine in front of number 11. He is staring into the fields of unbridled optimism. Everything is coming up roses for the 11. Lap 149.
2 to go, Mean Gene.
So here it is. If he can make it around 10 more seconds of inactivity, this thing will be official. But Owens making it happen for himself. Meanwhile,
everyone hits the wall.
He wants a last chance to get by Novella. Let's see if he can do it. Kyle Lanat underneath. Here comes Mata charging. Meanwhile, David Owens
breaks the white flag.
Into turn 3. Here it is. It is official now. It's just a matter of time before we see David Owens bring it around. If he can avoid just driving it up into the wall, he should be fine. Brings it into 3. Looks beautiful. Nice apex coming out of 4 through the Geico restart zone. And bada bing, bada boom. David Owens is your winner here at Dover International. Colin Bollinger second. Novella does hold off the charge of Mata for third. Joe Volpes going to bring it home to a top 5. Andrew Bolander, late charge. 6, Kevin Kyle. 7, how about Medina?
Big wreck across the start finish line. Sanders, hard to fall across the
boys.
He just got himself a top 10.
Look at that.
That's a top 10, Mean Gene. Any way you can get it.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Interesting. Look at that. People leaving quick. Kevin Brower's like, I'm done. I got 12.
Get me the hell out of here.
Be here. Wow. So it got a little spicy. We had some contact between some playoff drivers. Tight track. Dover, that banking, and especially that evil turn 4 makes it very difficult to keep those cars straight.
Yeah. We saw it all day today. I mean, I think that was probably and this is nothing to say about nothing mean about these drivers. Probably the ugliest race we've ever seen in this league. These guys struggled, and I'm not judging them. That is a difficult track, and it looked like the conditions today did not help them at all. And they still put on a great show. They were giving us action on track wherever they could or whenever they could, and I respect the heck out of them for that. But man, what a race of attrition, if anything, Mean Gene. It was just so much about just surviving today and just giving yourself a chance at it. And really all Owens had to do was just make sure he was there at the end, and that was a great job by him to do that. And what do you know? Owens, he is on one right now, and he's more dangerous than ever right now.
So who do you want to pull in for your bonus? The field
Oh,
is narrow. A lot of
God.
people have left already in anger.
I was looking to
Throw
say,
it up.
who hasn't already just disconnected their computer and thrown
Let's
their
see.
steering wheel?
Daniel Smith is still out there. That'd be interesting to see what happened to him.
He's still up?
Uh,
That's nice of him.
you could ask Hillman why he's done the MC Motorsport change.
Oh, God. Probably apologizing. Let's bring Mata in here.
He's been
Let's,
there all day.
let's just bring our top 4. Mata put in a show all day.
All right.
And we haven't gotten to hang out with Mata enough this year.
I think I got it.
Hey,
What's going on, Michael Mata?
how we doing?
How you doing today, man? You were a blast to watch today. On that inverse strategy to pretty much start the race, which was really cool to see, and then fighting until the end and working out with a 4th place finish. That I just call this, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but the ugliest race we've ever covered on Monday nights in terms of just wow, that track looked miserable. So, first of all, what was it? Was it heat out there? And what was that top lane like?
I think the problem was people were abusing their tires early. I figured that out in the last run.
Is it-
I think it was just it was hot, but it was tight in the middle and loose on the end, so it's just hard to really balance it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is Dover a track that you circle on your schedule? Is this one that you enjoy, or is it just Michael Mata just being really good today?
No, I'm like Martin Truex. I got like 17 different home tracks from Connecticut. So I got Dover 4 hours away, Pocono 3 hours, and New Hampshire 3 hours. So I try to be good at those 3. I'm only really good at Pocono and Dover. I don't like New Hampshire. So yeah, no, I know if you save tires here, it can be good later. It's just a matter of fact of actually getting the passing done because it's so hard here.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that too from having lots of local tracks. I'm a SoCal guy, and now that they destroyed Auto Club for no reason, now I get to say like Phoenix, Vegas, and Sonoma. Those are all my local tracks now. So I appreciate that. That part's fun. But yeah, that was awesome to see you put it down here today. You're always one to watch at these more technical tracks, so always fun to see you put in a show, and even better when we get you on an inverse strategy. So that was cool. Great job today, man.
I was worried about that last run. I heard you guys talking about how slow I was. I was like, oh god, maybe this won't work.
You came back. That was my bad. You came back with it. I was looking at lap time, or I was looking at pit laps, or like when everyone pit, and I was like, well, Owens is leading, but granted, clean air. But I think you were just being smart about it, and you were in 7th place. I think 10 laps after I said that. So yeah, you made me look silly. Good job.
I knew I only had like 6th place speed today, so I did a little bit different strategy, and it paid off.
Exceptional job, man. Anyone you want to give a shout to?
Shout out to the teammates. I got Case Beard and Hillman running with me in chat. Always fun. They didn't have great races, but yeah, Dover's gonna Dover.
Yep. Never a quiet moment with Alex Hillman in your chat. It's always fun. It keeps it fresh. Love that guy. Congratulations on the finish, man. Great job today.
Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast.
Of course, man. Well, that is going to bring us to our 3rd place finisher, me and Gene.
All right, let's see if I can. Yo, Matty, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, you missed last week. We started to worry about you a little bit. Then you come through, top 5. Got another top 5 up on that podium. How you feeling?
Good, man. It was sad to be away last week racing, but I got to see some family, so it was all good.
Oh, where'd you go?
Texas. Yeah, I got some family down in Texas, the Waco area.
I grew up.
Oh, I
Nice.
have a good friend in the Waco area. It seems like a cool place.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, we were worried about you. You were on the bubble. With Alex Hillman having that win, you're really only looking at 11 playoff spots. You and Thornton down there, all of a sudden, Matt Novella comes through with his 4th top 5 of the season, 6th top 10, and now finds yourself up 3 spots into 8th. You got to feel a little better now.
Yeah, a little bit, but still not done yet. Still got a couple races left, so we're still hungry. We're still moving, and it's still moving forward, man. We're not enough.
Yeah,
We're top
luckily,
5.
These next 2 tracks, though, not terrible. I think I remember seeing you being pretty fast at both Indianapolis and Chicago.
I like Chicagoland. Indy has eluded me a little bit, but okay there.
And you know what, though, Indy, I think you're on a pretty strong team. Just get on the same page with those boys, a little bit of drafting, And it's really a track where you can abandon people. So stronger teams will be able to. Anybody you want to give a shout out to today, man?
No, man, just the DDI guys, MRL crew, and shout out to you guys for doing a great job in the booth. Always.
I'll tell you what, and shout out to you for doing a great job on the track. Close calls out there, but Matt Novella pilots his way to 3rd and 8th in the playoffs. Congrats, Matt. Enjoy your evening. Good earned it.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. You too.
Great job, Matt.
Thanks, Zach.
That dude is
That
awesome.
DDI scheme.
Oh, it's coming, Matt. It's coming. You're gonna get sharked. Don't worry.
Oh,
All right. Hopefully for the playoffs.
Oh, don't you worry, my friend. Don't you worry.
All right.
I owe you one.
Nice.
all right. I'm gonna
Have a
pull
good night,
up,
guys.
You as well, man.
all right, pull it up, Colin.
We got you there, Colin Bollinger?
Oh, yes, sir.
Wow, man, you put on a show today. Great job. That was a fun race to watch. Let's get it out of the way first. What happened from your perspective there with the 13 of Iverson?
What had happened? What had happened?
What happened was...
I don't know. I mean, we were so pretty much the strategy that was in play there was I pitted on the first caution of the race, and I know those guys up in the front didn't. So I was probably on. I had 15 more laps fuel than them. So the goal was to get to the leader before they even pitted, which we were only about 2 seconds away from. And I drove it in there, and I looked at the replay. I washed up, but I feel like he was already turning down way before like the apex of like the corner, and we kind of met in the middle, and he just said he wasn't gonna try to get off me, and we wrecked the car. And he wants to like run his mouth and chat, and but it is what it is. I mean, it was hard racing. I mean, we're gonna every time we race him now, we're gonna be harder back to him. So it's just how it'll be.
Love it.
We were 4 or 5 tenths faster, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, you caught him quick. That is for sure. And that is pretty much the conclusion we came to in the booth as well. There was some coming up there, and then there was not any room given on the top, and oftentimes that's what that creates. But beyond that, amazing job recovering from that and giving yourself a chance at the win. So we had our eye on you. You're about 2 tenths back from Owens, and then we had some mayhem happen a couple spots behind you. And next time we came back, you were about a second back. So what happened in that time? Was there any incident there, or was it just Owens doing a tiny bit better job of protecting his stuff there?
No. I mean, that's why he won. He did a great job. I mean, it's already hard to pass on the outside, and I had some rear end damage from one of the previous wrecks before that long run, and no
Right.
fast pair left. So I was like, the goal was to try to get around everybody before the rear started really giving me fits, and Owens did a good job. He knew that if I don't pass him on the bottom, there's probably no way I can really pass him, and I got to him, stayed behind him a couple laps, and then the rear end, like I said, just started giving me a handful, and then I was just like, well, we're gonna try to maybe see if we can make a pass, but if we get second here, we'll still have a great day. So we locked in a second, not to be upset about, but I really wish we could have had that win for sure. I mean, I thought we had it there on that long run, but
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'll have my next question be for you, because I do think you passed more cars than that 11 of Owens today, so I'd love to hear this from you. Me and Gene probably around like 75% of the race were like, it does not look like passing on the top is possible at all if you have anything close to even tires. What made that impossible, or was it as impossible as we saw, and what made that so difficult today? Not like Dover's ever really a super easy track to make passes on the top on, but it did seem more impossible today than I've seen before.
I mean, I think the reason why it was so hard is, man, the guys on the bottom hold the keys, man. If they want to wash up there and not give you any space, I mean, they will. I mean, and it's tough because it's hard to really get a run on the outside. I know, like, Lynott was he was getting massive runs when we actually single filed out, but like when you're side by side, you have to back up so much on the outside, and the guy on the inside is pretty much judge, jury, and executioner. So, I mean, it's tough racing, but that's what makes the track fun. I mean, you got to be in the right spots, and you got to know what's going on. So, I mean, I think we did a great job maneuvering through all the stuff that we had to deal tonight. Just wish we had one more spot.
Yeah, I said that exact same thing about Lynott's line. He was in that crazy, awesome diamond all the way pretty much to the wall, then he'd exit on the bottom. And I was like, I think that's, like, we were looking at his lap times, and they were great, but I was like, I don't know how you possibly pass anybody running that line. I don't know where you find the line. So, yeah, just difficult situation there, and you kind of had to pick and choose. And Yeah, it was fun to watch you do it today, man. Great run. You're keeping that points lead on a stranglehold as we get closer to the end of the regular season. So good on you for that. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you get out of here?
No, Owens had a lot of playoff points.
Ooh,
or a lot
okay.
of bonus points that run.
We will look at that then. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Pull it up. Colin will not be happy.
Oh,
Yeah, you sound a little happy.
he sounds happy.
Nah, I'm kidding. No, but I just gotta
I'm
thank.
bummed.
I just gotta thank Team Delusional. Daniel Plant Smith. Andrew Bolander, and Womp Womp wasn't here tonight. But those guys. I just love racing with them and having a good time here. And thank you guys for broadcasting. Love getting to see the car run around here after the race is over and see what we can improve on. That's such a thing. But yeah, just a good night.
Thank you so much, man. Great job today.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you got to be impressed with the way that he was able to keep it on the track with that rear end damage. He said that the rear end was giving him a handful. I mean, I've gotten a handful of a rear end, but
Yeah, those are way less more fun rear end handfuls. Me and Gene, way less more fun. Honestly, I will say with these past two iRacing updates, rear end damage has been, besides like engine, like in terms of ones that seem okay to continue on and not pit, it is brutal. It makes the car so unpredictable, especially if it touches that spoiler. And I honestly forgot about that he did get a little bit of damage there. So that makes a lot of sense, and it makes it honestly even more impressive that he drove it up to second place there.
yeah, everybody got a little bit of that, except for one guy. One guy seemed to get through all the foolishness clean. Took the pole, let his buddy lead some laps, and then piloted that thing home to the win. And we are talking with your new regular season points leader, taking it over with that win. 2 wins on the season. David Owens, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
I'll tell you what, my friend, you look like a pro on that thing. I gotta ask, when Tony Iverson passed you, it looked like your car wasn't hugging the apron. Did you use that data to help you? Because when Colin was trying to give you some trouble, we did the in-car on Colin, and you just had that thing on a rail. I don't know if you were rolling it, pushing it, tugging it, or what, but take me through those laps when Colin got close.
The key was just to hold the bottom, not wash up. Being with a slick track like this, especially on one tire, it's a little bit harder to make that outside work. So the only really way to make that outside work is that you drive it in on the high side and just snatch it down to try to get that run coming off the corner. And Colin was just trying to roll the bottom with me and just trying to keep that dirty air on him. So there was a few laps there. I was like, he was real close, and I was just making sure I wasn't going to wash up to give him that little bit of a gap to stick his nose in there. Because once he got to the inside, then it'll be a battle. So it was good hard racing, fun racing with everybody here. So it was a blast.
Well, that awareness of yours, though, definitely paying off. We saw other drivers try to use that same line that you use so effectively. Specifically, your teammate, Tony Iverson, got into a little bit of a tussle with Colin. Colin brought it down underneath, and then Tony hugged it tight, and Colin trucked up a little bit. So riding the fine line, David, between opening the door for somebody else, but giving yourself enough of an angle. You just did it beautifully. Watching you those last few laps, hug that apron, and then just pull away from those guys. Really great run. I got to say, David, you've got a few wins in a row looking across the series, Thursday night, Sunday, next gen. Do you just feel like it's all coming together at the right time?
I believe so. That, and they do have one common denominator if you can figure it out.
You?
They were all concrete. My favorite tracks too, all 3. So it definitely lined up like the planets for me.
Well, the second win here of the season for you in this series, and that is going to give you a good lead. You were 1 point down coming into this thing. Jason Collin, take the win, take the stage win. Just so many points coming your way for the number 11 board. And we just pulled it up right there. You can see 16-point lead now for you behind the impressive run. 6 top 5s, 6 top 10s, just dominant fashion right now. Also, most you have 21 bonus points to his 20. So you guys are lining up not only for a great regular season finish, but also a heck of a challenge in the playoffs. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we go?
You guys up here in the booth for all that you do, working through any difficulty that you're giving Zach.
Sorry about that, Owens.
kudos
Thank
to
you for helping us. Genuinely, thank you so much. Because you were 100% right. We started on the air and then it took us off the air, so we made a new broadcast and it looks like it worked out. So shout out to you, man.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, look, we got to keep the league's priority. So no matter the series, but shout out to you guys. Putting your time and effort into this week in and week out. Buddy Salih for helping putting all the graphics together for this series and everything else as well. Shout out to all the admins and the league owner Steve, Beverly, and Volpus as well. So, and to these guys that show up each week, racing with everybody week in and week out, taking away the time just to enjoy it. So shout out to all of them. So we appreciate it.
There you go. David Owens kicking butt and saying names. David, thanks so much, dude. Good run today. Can't wait to see what you got for the boys come tomorrow if you run the trucks, and definitely on Wednesday night. Can't wait to see you. Good job tonight, David. Enjoy your evening. You earned it.
Thank you, sir.
So there it is, the David Owens, the number 11 NAS Ford driver, taking it home, getting the win. A little bit of sadness for his team. Tony Iverson, not the day that he would have liked to have had, but still another high side hustler win. And David Owens puts himself in prime position for that regular season championship.
Yeah, he really does. You called that, Mean. When you said he got playoff points, I was like, yeah, so he'll be closer. No. Oh, wow. Boy, was I wrong. He is in the lead, like you said.
He's charging.
It is. There's a lot of things here. Tony Iverson still holding on to that playoff spot, but boy, is it getting tight there. With only 2 races left, it really is all to play for now. And the biggest thing, and I appreciate Owen shouting them out as well because it's so important, is just showing up. You got to be here. It's so much easier if you're here. But even with that said, you're just seeing the cream rise to the top as guys who have raced 10 times. Still having trouble being up there with the guys who've raced 9 and 8.
Yeah, I mean, showing up is part of it, but you also got to get a little bit of luck as well as a whole lot of skill. As you could see the crashes today, collecting people repeatedly, and then technical issues. We saw Redinger have a mechanical failure. We saw Parham, who was in second place, just get disconnected.
Yeah,
go straight up into the wall. So these are things you cannot calculate, and you almost need a buffer race. It's kind of like the fast repair. Don't count on that because it might come out of nowhere. You suddenly plug in that fast repair just to get to the end of the race.
I mean, not just that. I mean, today, for example, great example of that, Bollinger and Iverson, just picture perfect, clean races until about 40 to go. They make contact with each other, and then from there, they obviously both have to use their fast repairs, and they were both in the next 2 cautions. So it really just does go to show you can't rely on that fast repair, because the second you use it, you in your head, you're like, well, I made 100 laps, there's only 40 more to go. Oh, I should be fine. No, you won't be.
Oh, you're in two race enders in the next 10 laps.
Exactly, and now you're also with the Squirrels running in 15th because of that incident. It's everything to protect your car and make sure you're there at the end. But man, it feels unbelievably difficult to win this in this league this year. I'm honestly even surprised that we have two-time winners out here. But wow, a lot of guys that were just running this league last year have not visited victory lane this year yet, and they may even have trouble making the playoffs. So we are in for a treat for these next 2 races. And I think just like last year, me and Gene, we've done the same thing. We could not tell who was going to go to the playoffs. It took until the last lap of the last race of the regular season for us to have any idea of who was really going. And all that did, once we narrowed down to 12, was make it even more complicated, because then we saw that group of 12 and we were like, oh my goodness, who is going to win this championship?
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to know next week, depending on if Eric Thornton makes an appearance. If Thornton and Jax Duvall, look, both of them miss, then it really gets crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a big
then
thing.
It really gets crazy. So the big question will be, will the high side hustler driver Eric Thornton make an appearance? Will Jax Duvall make an appearance? The East Coast Alliance driver, Alex Hillman, with that win, is already in a great spot, but he needs the next 2 races to go ahead and push his way up. And then there's always the outside chance of Sean Walton. 2 more races to be eligible, and then he would be the next points guy if Thornton and Duvall no show. And then, hey, let's go all the way down. Hunter Hall, he's got enough races. These boys don't show up. He could go from 15th to a playoff guy, just like that.
Yeah, Hall knows how to do it, and don't the guy below him, Jonathan Casabir. What is interesting about him to me, Mean Gene, is he was way down there. He missed all those races. As you see, he has there the least amount of races run, so that also is very impressive about that car right there of Casabir. He has more points than some guys who have run 10 races. But he missed races early on. And I remember him telling me about a month ago, I'm going to make sure I can make the playoffs based on races. So I'm going to not miss another race. And so I think that's about 3 in a row. So we've probably seen Casabir go from about 28th to 16th in points. If you look to your far right there on that INC/race, that's incidents per race. That just means how many times you go off track, hit a car. Casabir, granted, less races than everyone, so less opportunities to mess up. But this is an average, considerably less than everybody else. So he's keeping that car clean, and he is doing a great job of bringing home good finishes. Don't count out that number 6 car yet.
Yep, he is definitely, and especially Indianapolis, he could put up a heck of a show there with that top speed that we see at Indy. But I'll tell you who next week, who I'm going to be looking at, last year's winner, Tony Iverson. He won at Indy, and he still needs a win, but he's going to have to deal with those MC Motorsports. Michael Mata got 2nd. Casabir is going to be fast. He got 7th. So there'll be a lot of speed. And then you add the team of Bolander and Daniel Smith as well. Haven't seen Smith run there, but guy ran the fastest lap on a road course. Guy took a win on a speedway. So a lot of X factor still out there next week. But one thing is for sure, if I am the league admins, I definitely want to have a driver. Atlanta was chaotic. This race was chaotic. It's going to need an opportunity. There's more drivers than just Sean Walton making contact with people right about now.
Yeah,
and hey, my boy Sean didn't make contact with anybody tonight. He didn't touch
anybody. Really crazy.
0 incident.
Probably
that's why
the best race I've seen.
That's why he's one of the GOATs, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's one of the GOATs.
Actually, no, I think easily the best race I've seen out of Walton all season was today.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, that was a conversation. I'll make this one short, me and Gene.
It got spicy. It got spicy.
And there was, I'm not going to say any names, but I saw some things I really didn't like during those wrecks today. And you hear me complain about lacking and checking up. That wasn't that today. We saw cars not holding their brakes after wrecks. We saw cars driving through each other. Yeah, I would agree with you.
I think it's the not letting off when you see everyone in front of you.
Yeah, and it's also just driving these guys or driving your opponents with a tiny bit more respect. I think that was a little bit of an issue today as well. But I think that could be easily resolved with a meeting and just really just getting it all out there, because I do think some of these guys do have to have conversations as well. Because
with each other, just to clear it up. Like,
exactly.
I don't hate you. I don't hate you either. Let's talk.
Exactly.
That's all it takes.
I'd hate to see Iverson and Bollinger mad at each other when I'm assuming both of them will be racing for the win again next week. So I'd hate to see that being how that ends. And then I think, I mean, I don't want to look too much into this too, but I'd love to see bigger fields closer to what we had earlier this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with racecraft. So you really got to protect that. So I would be shocked not to hear that these guys want to have a talk. I know how John Beverly's been feeling lately. He's an incredible league admin, and this league is run by the best people I've ever dealt with in a league ever. And I've been in a lot of iRacing leagues, and MRL is generally the best I've ever experienced. So I don't have any doubt in that. And I think that's the fun thing about covering this is, while it sometimes it gives us entertainment, but also I don't get too concerned about it because I know we'll be fine. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and I will say, there is one guy, though.
That
dude, I'm going to tell you, if he doesn't stop it,
He's got to get out of here.
Yeah, that number.
Yep.
Car,
Exactly.
that guy.
Yep.
But
number.
we'll see. We'll see what they do.
That dude with that number, God, insane.
He's trouble. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. That's going to wrap us up from Dover International. David Owens taking the win. I want to thank again Chantilly Lace for all that they've done for us, bringing out the cautions, bringing out the cars, bringing out the fans. If you have a special event and you need this memorialized forever, Chantilly Lace is the folks for you. They do still photography, they do video, they do digital. Heck, I bet you if you bought them, they'd probably film it on 8mm for you, just so you could have some nostalgia in your happy memories.
It looked damn
Chantilly
good
Lace.
too. It looked damn good.
It would. Get the celluloid out there
Exactly.
recording what you got going on. That's going to wrap it up for us from Dover. Thanks you again. Go ahead and hit subscribe, like what you seen, tell your friends, and for you drivers at home watching this thing, let's get it together, boys. Let's get as many people as we can for these last 2 races. We'll be at Indy next week to see who can punch their way into the series. This is Monday Night Mayhem. On behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, Zach Panzarella, our sponsor, Chantilly Lace, KK Woodworks, DDI, and all the boys back in the production truck. It's been our pleasure to broadcast for you. And as always, bottoms up and hammer down.